For most of my life, my confidence has been conditional, largely found within the cocoons of my friend groups and routines. The moment I would enter new situations, I would feel my entire being shrink back to a 0 point of inner turmoil. And while this still comes up for me occasionally, I find that I can quickly return everything back to the witnessing state of mind and feel less attached to shame or guilt about who I am, which changes the entire experience. It's not that I love every single thing about myself or feel completely fearless, but I know myself deeply. I trust my responses to the world around me. I trust in my ability to own my mistakes. I trust the scary process of creating new neural pathways. I know how to return every story back to love, what medicine to bring when density arises. The world has become less scary, and I get to take the safe space of my mind, body, and heart everywhere with me. This is where I source my confidence. It's official. I'm just making all the videos that my younger self needed, and it feels so healing. I am so excited to talk about being energetically attractive and where to source your confidence from, because it has been a tumultuous journey for me to learn that. For so much of my younger years, my confidence was determined by external opinion, and it was really hard initially because everyone thought that I was really shy, weird, ugly. Growing up in a racist town, I just thought I was so ugly for all of my childhood. There was a lack of representation, and so I hated myself, and I spent so much time alone, and I didn't know why I wasn't cool enough, social, extroverted enough. I didn't know why I was so tainted, but I really internalized that. And then when I started to develop and grow breastises, everyone was like, oh, she's kind of hot. And then there was still that projected subtle racism and the fetishization that started on at a very young age. And then I was like, oh, I guess that I am hot now because everyone else sees that in me. So I guess that must be what's true. And then at a certain point after I had been completely slut-shamed and people were making up lies about me all the time that everyone believed, once again, because of the way that I looked, I was like, wow, this is really empty and actually the worst thing ever. And then I hated my body for so long because of how unsafe it made me feel. It's been a long journey. And through the years of genuinely healing my mental health, taking time for myself, unpacking deep wounds, I have really learned where to source my confidence from and how to find this stable knowing within myself. And so in this video, I'm not just going to tell you to love yourself. It is a deep, long journey. And I just wanted to share different ways that you can begin actually cultivating confidence from a stable place that is so radiant and permeating all around you and is something that will last, that is not dependent on your looks or anything external. I have my journal, I have my notes, so let's get into it. First thing is having a grounded sense of who you are, especially if you have a tendency to disassociate. I definitely did for a while. This is my manifestation journal, and every single time that I start a new one of these, I will write an I am kind of soliloquy about who I actually am at the core of my being. And mine goes a little something like, I am a highly empathetic being with an endless capacity for love, compassion, and inspiring others on their journey of remembrance and reclamation of the self. I am in tune with the energies all around me and within me. It is one of my superpowers. My deepest wish is to truly do the most good upon this planet that I possibly can while enjoying this one single life and breaking through my own karmas. I believe in the power of love. I get overly excited about small things and rejoice in the accomplishments of those around me. I effortlessly surrender to the sensations in my body, basking in the total splendor of each moment. And that is a simple, almost like a mission statement of who I am and why I'm here. And you can go way deeper into this and actually practicing and integrating those things if you want to be a positive light in this world every single day, doing one good deed for someone or holding space for people that you love or speaking boundaries and prioritizing your own energetic safety. Having a stable sense of who you are allows you to be moving from that place. And to go even deeper from that, I feel like I source the most confidence confidence from being so committed to my healing above all else, to the point where everything that happens upon my path, I can instantly alchemize it and see the lesson and see the miracle in it. In fact, that is what I'm seeking first and foremost when there's a heavy or dense thing that comes into my field, is, oh, this is an opportunity for growth, for knowing myself even further. Or maybe I didn't get this opportunity because there's something better coming, or it's simply not my time yet. I'm not prepared enough and I need to focus my energy on other things. Just truly seeing everything that arises as an opportunity for my evolution. And I believe that spirit, God, the universe is constantly conspiring to our highest evolution, to our highest embodiment of unconditional love. And I have seen that repeatedly in my life. So at this point, I just expect it. And then I'm not as reactive when intense things come up. And I think that's so energetically attractive. And along with that is witnessing your reactions, witnessing the rage, the anger, the reactivity as neutral information, not good or bad, but like, whoa, a testament to where you're at right now in your journey or in this season of your life, and taking that for what it is and being like, okay, so I noticed I react when minor inconveniences happen, or I notice every time I go into a social setting, I have debilitating anxiety. Like, let's figure this out, inquire deeper, and be curious about your own experience. And then you can start to shift the way that you show up to the world. For example, I know that I get social anxiety the first few times that I'll hang out with a new friend. And now that I've witnessed that pattern, I expect it, and I can do vocal toning before, and I don't take my anxiety seriously at all, because I know that I'm just getting to know someone, and it's a little bit nerve-wracking. And then by the third time we hang out, I feel so disarmed and so comfortable being myself. I love knowing that I can leave whenever I want. When I lived in New York City, it was like my favorite thing. If I started to get overwhelmed at a party, I would just dip out. When it's a big party, you don't even have to say bye to everyone. Like, you can just take the subway and go home. That's a really big one for me, is knowing that I can leave at any time. Knowing yourself so deeply means that you can properly introduce yourself around other people and take care of yourself around all kinds of people too. Like, this is what I need. This is how I take care of myself. And I do this all the time now. Like, hey, I'm gonna head out. I like to eat dinner early and go to sleep early, or like, I'm gonna head out because I haven't had time alone in nature yet today, so I need to prioritize that. Being confident doesn't just look like owning the room and being super outgoing and having all your shit together. And so finding what makes you feel unstable and bringing medicine to that situation, knowing that it is all open to change. From a day-to-day perspective, giving medicine to your own triggers also just looks like stating your boundaries to people that you love. And also, I found this super helpful when I was really sad, was just voicing and claiming my sadness and not having any shame around it. And it's almost a prerequisite for me now. When I introduce myself, or I'm hanging out with a friend and they ask me how I am, I don't sugarcoat anything. I'm like, yeah, let's talk about it. I'm feeling a lot of fear in my body right now. Different things are coming up for me, or I felt a little anxious this morning, but I'm really proud of myself because I still did my morning routine and I feel so much better now. You know, just making space for all of your experience with full unconditional acceptance, and doing that in group settings, because what would cause my anxiety really, and what I notice a main reason for social anxiety is now, is that I have to hide, change, or contort parts of myself, or just be happy. Like, pretending to be happy is such a heavy thing to do when you're immensely sad. And that's what I was doing for the first 15 years of my life. And you will be surprised at how fully you can still be embraced when you're feeling these emotions that you might demonize as bad or wrong. This has to be addressed. Not chasing friendships or romantic relationships. Everything that is for you will find its way to your life effortlessly. You will not have to chase the things that are meant for you. And I don't mean this in terms of a job or your wildest dreams, because some things do take discipline and commitment and effort. With friendships, it took me so long to integrate the fact that there should be a natural ease and comfort, and I seek that now. There should be a natural flow. If you're constantly trying so hard to impress people in your life, or if you are not allowed to speak your boundaries or to be fully in your truth around people, those are not your people. Graceful gracefully bow down, thank them for the lessons that they've taught you, and walk away. Really begin to be turned off by disrespect or people who make you feel like you have to shrink or water yourself down. At a certain point, it's honestly such a turnoff that anyone would make you feel bad about being yourself. And when it comes to romantic relationships, really watch someone's actions over just trusting their words, because people will show you how they really feel in the way that they're showing up. Just listen the first time, because otherwise you'll be battling your intuition and it's gonna make you feel crazy and so not confident, so insecure, questioning what's wrong with you, why you're not pretty enough or good enough. When you release the relationships that are not doing that are not in full alignment, you truly are making space for the depth, for the intimacy, and for the love that you deserve. Let's talk about jealousy and insecurity. So if you're jealous of someone else, it's a great opportunity to figure out what areas of your life that you do not feel fulfilled in. Anytime you feel feelings of jealousy come up, truly just breathe into your heart, take a moment, look at your reality, and look at the places that maybe you haven't been showing up fully for yourself or for your mission, and just the things that you could change or do to feel more fulfilled and in love with your own life, romanticizing your own life. This is an anchor. Like, why don't I feel good enough for myself right now? Also having the awareness that social media is a highlight reel, that what everyone shares on Instagram is some form of curated version of their life, and them knowing that they're going to be perceived. If you can't be present in this now moment when you have everything that you desire or everything that you think you desire, you will still struggle with that inability to be present and really have gratitude for all that is here and now. So start in this moment and really take notice of everything that is so beautiful and such a gift in your life. And also, if you're feeling jealous, it could be a sign that the person that you're with romantically doesn't necessarily know how to make you feel loved, and you can communicate your love language to them. Or for example, if you have a partner who's always talking up other women and how amazing they are and special they are, but literally can't say those things about you, you can bring that to their awareness. I was once in a very toxic relationship in high school that taught me a lot, but my partner would never compliment me at all. He would never say I looked nice or beautiful or anything positive to me. He never affirmed me in any way, which I didn't think much of. It was very unhealthy. He was always sexting other girls, and I went through his phone one time, saw conversations about his ex where he was calling her perfect, he was calling her beautiful, he was calling her the most beautiful girl in the world, and that hurt more than anything, that he was giving these words to someone else that he could never use with me. And so for a while, when my partners or people that I was dating would talk highly of other women, it would make me so sensitive. Like, does that mean that I'm not those things? But they were also using that same language for me, and I realized what a beautiful thing it is to be with someone, especially a cis man, who can support the rise of the feminine, who can see women beyond just their bodies and see them as medicine carriers and see their power and magic and inherent worth and beauty. I realized like how freaking good that feels to be with someone who can empower other women. And I also just want to say, I think it's a red flag if a man only gives respect to a woman who is conventionally attractive, beautiful, or essentially someone that he would want to sleep with. The last thing I want to say on jealousy is that if anyone is projecting something onto you that is not constructive and you get offended by it, it's simply because there's a part of you that believes it is true. If someone says something negative about you and you are so emotionally reactive, it's pretty revealing to where your consciousness lies and where you are in terms of knowing yourself. Because if you have a grounded sense of self, then you'll know when someone's just projecting something onto you, and it doesn't have to affect you as deeply at all. If it's constructive, I always look at it and really try to sit with constructive messages, but otherwise, let them sit with their own projections. Patriarchal ideals can feed into internalized misogyny and make us also fall into pits of self-hate. I was gonna make a whole video on this called Memoirs of a Slut, because everyone has always slut shame me, and it doesn't matter how many partners that I've slept with or haven't slept with, like people have always projected whatever they wanted to onto me because of the way that I dress and the way that I look. If you only respect a woman depending on what she wears or doesn't wear, then you do not respect women, period. A lot of times I like to dress androgynously, and it's crazy how much safer I feel in the world, and I think that it's just a reflection of the hypersexualization of women, which to me is a result of puritanical conditioning. I mean, before colonization happened in many parts of the world, the female body wasn't sexualized in the way that it is now, especially in indigenous cultures. Women walked around topless a lot. I recently learned that in India, women would not wear anything underneath their saris until this puritanical conditioning, a lot of it having to do with Catholicism, started coming around, and the female body was just seen as impure. I mean, there are people who genuinely believe that the female body is inherently impure, especially if she has had sex, especially if she talks about sex or masturbation. And just knowing how much that brainwashing is fed to us has really softened my relationship with myself. I think that the patriarchy and puritanical conditioning go hand in hand because both have fed into so many aspects of feminine oppression, including toxic beauty standards, slut shaming, dirtying of the feminine cycles, and anything relatively feminine, including feeling and being emotional, which in fact every single human is. A lot of women also carry internalized misogyny and patriarchal standards, which leads to competition and tearing each other down. My partner's ex actually sent a series of emails just because she was so triggered by my sexuality videos and was like, is this spirituality? Do you really want to be with a woman like her? And all of these projections. And I sent her an email back, and I'll put it right here just because I really wanted to clarify that talking about sexuality and being a sexual person doesn't make you any less spiritual. And if you think that sex is dirty, wrong, or impure, that's something that needs to be looked at as someone who is a space holder and a teacher. I think that unpacking the internalized misogyny that I literally still carry, because the air that we breathe is filled with it, and racism and fat phobia and diet culture, just knowing that those programs are within me and within every single other person in this society has helped me to not feel as confined or defined by them, and has really helped me to feel okay when I get things wrong. There's still a lot for me to learn, and also when people are projecting things onto me, I know where that's coming from, so that has really helped me feel a lot more confident in just owning who I am. The last thing I'm actually going to say is watch my video on embodiment practices. I'll have it linked down below, because that will just help you move different energies around and just feel really radiant when you show up to different spaces rather than being depleted and confused. So yeah, those are just my thoughts on finding true confidence from within and proving your self-worth and respect to yourself by how you show up in the world and the kind of energy that you allow. If you can show up for yourself with full integrity and honesty, it will literally start to shift so many things and heal so many things. Yeah, I hope this video was helpful to you. Please let me know any of your tips down below for being confident in yourself. Also, having a routine can be really helpful. A daily, consistent, intentional time where you really anchor back into yourself and the truth of who you are as an expanded, limitless being. But I have really been on this wave of just being out in the field and practicing in real time in those new situations, the belief systems and the meditation, because there's no point, I think, really in meditating and doing yoga all the time if you're not going to integrate it into your day-to-day life and just be a better person or be a more courageous person, be present, speak your truth. I hope that you can have the courage to be yourself in all moments and to take everything around you as information and respond equanimously to the world and know yourself so deeply. I cherish you, and until I see you next, please take some deep belly breaths. Bye. Also, I don't really know if I mentioned this, but being a good person, a good friend, a good daughter, deeply listening to my guides, that is where I'm sourcing my validation as well. And it's not really up to public opinion. Just the quality of love that you can share with other people and the immense capacity for depth and vulnerability in your heart is a very rare and beautiful thing, and makes you so, so beyond a world beautiful.
I just wanted to say that.